Welcome to a special Manor Lords playthrough where we're trying to achieve a treasury sum of 1 million. So we're going to try to build that high amount of wealth. It's also going to serve as a sort of a starter's guide. I'm going to be explaining everything as I go, and in the hopes that people just jumping into the game will have a really solid foundation for helping their own villages to thrive and survive. So let's jump right in here. We're gonna go new game. Let's see, what portrait shall we choose? We'll go with Heinz, a young lord. We'll stick with that preset flag that I've created. Okay, so here at the game setup, we've got the map selection and also the difficulty sliders and everything. For this playthrough, we're going to stick it on default. I figure for a starter's guide, the default settings are going to be the best settings to go with. Most people are probably going to jump into the game with the default setting. And so as far as maps go, part of the default setting is the AI, the off-map adversary, Hildebolt von Burenroot. Okay, the idea is to claim every region on the map. In the Germanic Valley map, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regions. And these crests indicate that Burenroot owns 2 of these regions. I own 1 region, and then these other regions are unclaimed, up for grabs. So the idea is to dominate the map. So what happens is the Baron will claim all the unclaimed territories, and then if there are no unclaimed left, he'll claim yours. So, and then we can also jump ahead of him, claim some of these unclaimed territories, or we can earn what's called influence. We can earn enough influence and just go right to claiming his territory, but that requires a large battle of sorts, because he's not going to give it up without a fight. So this is what this kind of indicates here. So with that in mind, it's important for a beginner, I think, if you're playing with the Baron here, it's important to choose a map with several regions. Like, let's look at High Peaks map, 4 regions. This is a little more difficult because the Baron, he's going to claim 1, 2, and then he'll go right after you. So you got to be ready for him. Now, any experienced player is not going to have problems, but I just don't recommend it for a first-time player. Although the High Peaks map is quite beautiful, winding river, a decent map. It's got a lot of pathing bugs though at the moment. Like you'll order oxen, and the oxen won't really show up at the village. You might have to order 2 or 3 oxen before one of them even shows up. They'll get trapped. But again, it's a map with several regions. I think 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regions there. Devil's Hill, one of the newer maps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Jagged Cliffs, another large region. Really the only small region is going to be your High Peaks. This is the one that's going to be more difficult for the newer player, okay? Keep that in mind. Lake Lem. It's still 7 regions. Yeah, everything's 7, I guess, except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divided. The map divided is 6 regions. We're actually going to go Germanic Valley to start at 8 regions. It'll also help us build the most wealth, because it's easier to build wealth with multiple regions. So the more regions you have, generally, the more wealth you're going to be able to accumulate. So we'll go and jump right in, Germanic Valley. You could also mess around with your starting position by moving your crest manually, click and drag. Okay, so let's pause the game here. We got a new message. Build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards the region owned by your opponents. Once the claim's been pressed, be ready for battle. I'll unite the lands under my rule. Well, that's the hope. We've got our starting villagers here. We've got our UI up here. This is the... it's all by families, okay? A lot of these games have, individual numbers. Like you think, oh, my population's 5. Well, that's not true. This represents families. And right here at the beginning, families have 2 people. They've got, I believe, 2 people each. And then when you build houses, a third person moves in. So each family generally is going to have 3 people in total. Okay? So that's something to keep in mind. When you assign a worker to a workplace, it's actually assigning the entire family. Okay? So we've got some rich clay. That little crown icon above there indicates that it's a rich source. Every region is going to have 2 rich sources of something. So if we look at our region, we've got stone, wild animals, mushrooms, and iron. With only clay as our rich source. So this tells you that your land is fertile. Your land is the other rich source. So if we go into our tool menu down here and we go to farming, if we click on, we got the overlays. If we click on any of the fields, let's click on emmer or wheat. As you can see, we got a lot of fertile land. The greener it is, the more fertile it is. You look in the other regions, we've got a lot of red, oranges. This is another fertile region here. Okay. Normally there's only, two regions that are fertile. Keeps going to there. Yeah, see 2 regions that are fertile. We've got one of them. So honestly, fertile land is a really good thing to roll right at the beginning. So we're gonna have fun here. This jagged artwork right here, this patterning indicates high elevation, which will reduce crop yields unless you invest in a certain village perk. You're going to have lower yields on the higher elevation. But we don't have much higher elevation, just this corner back here, it looks like. Anywhere else we've got high elevation? No. Everywhere else seems like standard elevations, so we're going to be fine there. All right, so those are the resources we have to start. And our rich resources are clay and farmland. Okay. Let's pause it again. So this is let's go to our construction menu. We've got the gathering tab, logistics tab, residential. Okay, all the different tabs that contain each building down on here. The first thing I like to do on the default settings is, you can see up here we've got 50 regional wealth. Well, I'm going to order another oxen. That's really the first thing I like to do, get another oxen in here, because the oxen play a huge role. They're going to be transporting all your timber to all your different construction sites. They're going to be transporting timber to your saw pit to make planks. So the transportation of timber is one of the most important things about your village in Manor Lords, and your oxen is the only thing that can transport a piece of timber. Okay, so getting more oxen in here is essential, and so that's why we did that. And we do need a hitching post for him. You can't just order another ox and then not have a space for him to post up at. Okay, so we're going to build a hitching post. We're also going to build a logging camp. If it's not obvious to, it will be one of the key buildings. If you want to play ultimate, yeah, let's get it right in here. You can hover over, it'll tell you how many trees are going to be uprooted for the construction. So generally, if you can do it without uprooting trees, hey, it's better. You hold the left click and drag it to rotate. Boom. We'll make a little road there. A little path. Okay. We can unpause it, let people start going on that. Let's also make a granary. So if we go to our logistics tab, we've got the granary here. I like to build the granary really right next to the supplies. This is our supply drop right here. If you can see, we've got bread, we've got firewood, some stone, and some tools. The reason I like to build it right next to the supply piles because they build the granary with timber and stone. So they're going to take the stone and transport it to the build site. But each stone can only be grabbed individually. You see that guy's grabbing stone. She's also grabbing stone. And you'll see as they drop the stone off, it's going to be delivered. It's going to go up to 1. There it is, 1 stone. 2 stones. So you can imagine, you know, if our granary is way over here, every villager's grabbing 1 stone, hauling it way over there to drop it. It's not super efficient. Okay, we're going to go storehouse as well. This is going to be a very free-form village. Not going to be tightly packed. Not going to be, symmetrical, anything like that. It's going to be, the game is kind of about free-form building. Place your buildings anywhere, no gridless. That's the whole thing, and I really like to take advantage of that. Not a lot of building games, even in today's day and age, not a lot of building games have gridless building, which is kind of surprising, but hey, that's where we're at. So the logging camp is getting close to completion here. We want to be able to employ some families right on that relatively quickly. So the granary's built. I'm going to go ahead and employ someone at the granary, and what they're going to do is they're going to transfer all the bread into the granary, and that protects it from the weather. The logging camp, we're going to assign 2 families. Let's talk a little bit about work areas here. You click on a building and you go to the advanced tab. Some of these buildings have work areas. Right now it's set to unlimited work area. Well, let's limit the work area. Click that. Holding control and scrolling the mouse wheel enlarges the circle. And we can go ahead and select a work area for our loggers, because we don't want to log over by the wild animals. That'll disturb them. We got that warning running out of food, but we've got 20 food right here. It's important to know the consumption on this. It's 20 food. So it says we've got 1 month of food in the surplus. That's not true. We got more than that. We got more than that because if you look at consumption here, families consume 1 food per month. Okay, so we got 5 families. Okay. We've got, see, now it's showing 3 months of food left because 5 families are going to eat 5 food in a month. So Really, we have 4 months until we're out of food. This is the Hildebolt von Buren route. He's writing, I have heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who would wrong me. I hope you'll not judge me by the rumors and slanders some may spread about me. So he's trying to play nice at the beginning here. So the storehouse is going to haul firewood into the storehouse, protect it from the weather. We got 2 timber, so we can actually build a home. Build our first burgage plot. So if we go to the residential tab. Again, we're going to go... The region's not going to be packed. So it's a 4-point plot system. And if you make it long enough, you can see that dashed line with the other structure in the back. That's called a backyard extension, this part right here. If I didn't make it as long, then you got that. It's no backyard extension. If I make it wide, you can see that that plus house right there. That's additional family. A little outbuilding can be built. Okay. So that's kind of the burgage plot system. We'll talk more about that as we go deeper in the playthrough. The backyard extension is very adaptable and variable, and we're going to make a lot of use of those backyards. So that'll be something we'll keep an eye on here. Again, we'll go into that more. Right now, it's important to know that really you always want to build your burgage plots with a backyard extension option. You can build the backyard extension and then never build it out if you want, for whatever reason. It's always good to have it though, in case you do want to build it out, which more often than not you will want to. Okay. Our woodcutters are getting after it. All the bread and all the supplies are in the storehouse and granary, so we're going to let them loose. Let those families loose. We just got those things out of the weather, off the floor, into the storehouses. That's going to help preserve them. Now we can free up those families to help build. We could also add maybe... No, yeah, that's good. So, we got more timber here. We got 4 timber. If I press the H button, that's a quick... The H key is a quick burgage plot. So we could do the quick plot. Okay. These homeless people's tents, this is going to go away after you build homes enough for the villagers. That'll just vanish. It'll just up and vanish. So just build with that in mind, that that's going to be leaving you. First burgage plot is built and our first family has moved in. As you can see, Thomas, Toman, and Gretlein. That's the 3 families, or 3 people that are within that family. So now, let me explain really the building blocks behind village expansion and approval. Up here we've got our approval rating. Right now we're at 50%, and that's where you'll start, 50% respected. 50% is not enough to get your villagers to get new villagers to migrate. You need about 55% as a base approval rating. So if you look at our, now we've got a house built, let's click on the Burgage plot. You look under here on the tab, requirements. You need to fill these requirements in order to raise approval. Okay. These requirements are closely tied to approval rating. So just know that. So foraged goods, vegetables, grains, fruits, do they have any of these? Well, we do have grains. We know that. We have bread. Now, the reason why it's not indicating that we have any of this is because it needs to be on the marketplace. We haven't built a marketplace, but we're going to. Meats, fish, animal produce, that's another category. It's got to be on the marketplace. We don't have it because we don't have a market. That's what this indicates right here. This little market icon, that stall icon. Fuels, there is no fuel. We do have fuel. We have 20 firewood, but it's not on the market. Again, these items not being on the market is the reason that the houses are not getting them. Church access and water access. These are not market items, as you can see. They're amenities. So, let's get things on the market, shall we? So let's close this. The game is paused, by the way. So if I go to our building tab again, if we go down here to residential, we've got the classic Burgage plot. We've got a well. Here's the market tab. Let's click it. And what happens is your granary workers and your storehouse workers will build stalls at the marketplace, and you got to designate the marketplace. Again, it's a four point system, 4-point plot, very similar to the Burgage plot. Okay. Where's our, normally there's a spot. See this little bullseye right here that indicates the road? Or indicates the entrance? Normally there's one for the granary, but I don't see it. Huh, strange. Whatever. We're just gonna... Guess we'll just assume it's there somewhere. Okay, so let's do the market. Let's just do a little market right there. And you have to man these buildings again, so let's man it. Put one family in each. As we unpause the game, families will go and they'll build their market stalls. You can see we've got the market stalls already under construction. You just plot out the land and they build the markets for you. And let's get a water well going. We need one timber to do that, so we'll wait as our woodcutters at the logging camp get work done. We've still got one family that's freed up to build. Unemployed families will be able to work in construction. Pretty typical in these kind of resource management games. The market's already built. Stalls are already built, so now they're going to stock it. And they're going to stock the market with only the number of houses that are built. Even though we have 5 families, they're not going to stock the market with 5 loaves of bread. They're only going to do as many as are built. So they'll stock it with 1, and now when that gets built, they'll stock it with a second one. Same thing with firewood. See, we've only got 1 thing of firewood in the market, and the food stall only has 1 thing of bread. So now if we click, so now this second one got built. Okay, let's build the water well. So you can only build it over the blue areas. Build the water well there. So now if we click on this home, you can see we've got forage goods, vegetables, grains, fruits. We've got it satisfied. It's met with the wheat bread. And you can see the fuel is not satisfied. Let's figure out why. Let's go to our fuel, because there's only one. It's probably for that one. Yeah, so fuel satisfied for that. But this guy should be stocking it. Maybe it's this woman that's going to stock it right here. She's transporting firewood into the burgage plot. But we actually need it on the marketplace. They'll do it. Sometimes it takes them a little while to catch up. If you want to be ultra efficient, it's good to build burgage plots right next to where your logging is happening. That way the oxen don't have a lot of ground to cover when they transport timber. If you want to be ultra efficient, you'll build your burgage plots right in here. But this is a casual start. We're not trying to be meta with this or anything like that. We're just rolling, kind of a relaxed situation. Now we've got 2 units of firewood, and we're gonna need our 3rd unit of firewood. So now we've got both these needs met, and our approval is already climbing up 52%. And it's going to continue to climb. So you can see that recent factors for the approval: market food variety, general good variety. And then when the well is built, that'll satisfy the water need. So we're moving right along. We're going to be fine. We're just methodically getting the market filled out. Always keep someone employed here, because as soon as you remove this family, you want to free them up to do something else, that market's going to become abandoned, and our requirement at the burgage plot will no longer be met. Even though the bread might be sitting there in the market, it's got to be attended by a vendor. Something to keep in mind there. Again, family joined the burgage plot. Basically, it indicated that, a family of 2 became 3. Okay, that's all that's going on right there. I don't know if that's like a birth. We're supposed to believe that's a birth of someone, but there are no children in the game. As far as, small people, they might be children, but they're all, mature people who can work strenuous jobs. Okay, so we got to think about food a little bit. We got to think about a hunting camp. We got our animals right here. We don't need hunting quite yet. Our food and fuel are both at 13 units. Again, very important to keep in mind. Families consume 1 food per month. So 5 families, we're going to lose 5 food per month. So we're not going to be able to last 3 months with the food we have left. Fuel is consumed by burgage plot amount. So 1 burgage plot consumes 1 fuel per month. So 3 burgage plots, but we got a 4th underway. So 4 burgage plots is going to consume 4 fuel per month. Pretty simple. Pretty straightforward there. Our 5th home. Kind of want to move this hitching post. Let's move this hitching post over here. So our approval's up at 54%. Okay, no families are going to move in unless we have available space for housing, and that's listed here. It says -2. That means we don't even have housing to cover the families who are already in the village. We need to build 2 more houses to get that done. And once this is built, that number is going to go from -2 to -1. See, there it is. Switch to -1. So now we need 1 more house built to house the people we have here. This number in parentheses indicates how many houses are underway as far as construction. We've got 1 house underway. So if you've got -1 here with 1 underway, you know, okay, I'm going to be able to take care of housing for everyone in my village. But if you want growth to happen, which I'm sure all of you do, at least at the beginning, you're going to want, you're going to want this number to be not in the negative. You're not going to want it to be 0. You're going to want it to be 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how many families can migrate to your village based on approval and other factors. 55% approval is going to give you 1 family a month. You'll see at the start of the game here, there's a variable called fresh start, which is basically fresh settlement. And that variable gives you another family a month. So at the beginning of the game here, we're going to be able to get 2 families per month. Okay. So we got to already get another house underway because we know we're going to have migrants. Better to accommodate them right now instead of trying to, catch up to it. It's always good to stay out ahead of the growth so that you're ready for it. All right. The visuals of the game are possibly its strongest point. It's not the deepest city builder you'll ever encounter. Not the most intuitive. But the prettiest, I believe it is. You can go Control C to get into camera mode. Really drink it in. I do have a day-night cycle turned on in the options menu, so if you don't like the darkening of the land with the night cycle, that's not really the default. I've had to go into settings and change that to add the night cycle. So if you're wondering why is my day, why is it not becoming night? Well, it's a setting you got to change within the game settings. So, all right. You can also go into third-person mode here. Another outstanding feature in the game. There's our well. Our logging camp is doing work. continues to work through the rain. They know what it takes to get this settlement off and running. The homeless people's tents, these are going to disappear as soon as we get that other home built. In fact, the other home's almost already built, it looks like. Should we kind of hang out here and see what happens? This guy's probably a little intimidated that I'm here. It's alright, just be yourself, you're fine. Relax. No need to pretend like you're working. Yeah, let's just hang out here until this home gets built. We'll see what happens to the homeless tent in this third person mode when the house gets built. I think if it's anything like the standard mode, it's just going to disappear immediately. Sorry, I was in your way there. Maybe this guy's not intimidated. He's like, tell me to step off. Yeah, there it is. Armament delivery. So we've got 5 burgers plots built. That's really what triggered that settlement level increase. You build your first 5 burgers plots, you're going to get a settlement level increase. And you're going to have this notification if you're on the default settings. Armament delivery. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived. You will now be able to create your first militia banners to serve you and protect your people. However, we'll need more weapons to equip all the people as the settlement grows, either by making them or importing them from other lands. Let's form the militia. Okay. We're not going to form the militia quite yet. But as you can see in the military tab up here in the UI, we do have 20 spears now. We have 20 large shields. So that'll outfit a spearman unit of 20. Spearman units require spears and large shields. So if you have 20 spears and 0 large shields, you're not going to be able to outfit any spearmen, okay? You can't just send spearmen out there with no shields. The game won't allow it. As you can see, we got the 5 burgers plots built, so this should have 5 in it. Yeah, we got 5 sticks of firewood, 3 bread, so the bread person's lacking. But here she comes right now. She's loading it up. There, she's gonna balance it out. 5 bread. And it's not 5 pieces of bread or 5 loaves. It's 5 months worth of bread. That's how it should be understood. Okay, forager hut. We know we got mushrooms somewhere, right? Way out here. It's a shame that it's way out here, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Again, we've got to destroy some trees. Only 1 tree uprooted for the construction here. I think it's pretty decent, considering where we're at. Okay. Way out here. I shouldn't have... Okay, yeah, let me right-click to cancel some of that path work. Just trying to get a decent road here. So let's free up one more family. Let's get logging camp just down to one family. We'll get the hunting camp going. Put the hunting camp just right by the storehouse there. I find that generally you want to put the hunting camp pretty much right out by wherever your animals are, because your hunters are going to be dragging the animal carcasses back to camp, and you don't want the camp too far away from the animals because they walk slower when they're dragging the animal. So they're going to be wasting a lot of time walking. I'm just going to order another ox as well, a third ox. Okay, it's worth it. As you can see, that drops us to 10 regional wealth, which means we cannot order any more oxen. Can't fit that guy in there anywhere, huh? Seems like I should be able to fit him, but I can't. It's fine. All right. So I should have an oxen transporting that timber out to the forging hut. Let's see if we can find him. So your region's either going to have mushrooms to forage or berries. So they work generally the same. They'll be growing all throughout March, April, May, June, July, August. They'll stop growing come September, and they'll be dormant all throughout the winter. Okay, we got some people coming out there to flatten the ground. Looks like both of our freed families are going out there to the forging hut, which is kind of a shame. Because really they gotta wait for that oxen to get out there before they can build. Again, the ox is going to be transporting the timber. And the fact that I don't see the ox yet is concerning. Hopefully he didn't perish on the path No, the oxen don't perish on the path like that. The oxen can get killed, though, in bandit raids and things of that nature. Huh. Strange. Where is our oxen? Linhart is gathering. Did he already transport? He must have already transported because he's way out here. Oh, he did. Nice. Okay, I missed him. He must not have taken the path. He must have gone a different route to get out to the build site. Okay, so April 17th, another family moved in. And it's because of this fresh settlement variable. The fresh settlement modifier gives me a +1 as far as family migration. As you can see, our monthly migration is listed at +2 in total, and then it gives you the reasons why. +1 for fresh settlement, +1 for approval because we're above 55%. That's what's happening there. So the families are going to drop on the 17th of every month and also the 2nd or 3rd of every month. So those are the times when you want to have space available. So we do still have one spot available for another family to come in next month on May 1st or 2nd. As the forging hut's built, I want to employ one of these families in right away. And let's actually figure out what family that is. So that's the thing I wish would be more, kind of a quality of life feature to be able to click on. To be able to click on these people and just assign them right from their interface, but you can't really click on them to bring up any kind of tab. It just tells you what their names are, and it says what they're doing, In order for me to understand who that family is that's building, you need to click on the burgage plots individually. You need to click the people. We've got their warehouse workers, okay? So we don't want to use them. Unassigned. These are them right here. As you can see, all three of them are out here. So this is the family. So let's increase the game speed. Unpause it. As soon as it's built, we'll click this icon to assign the family right to the forging hut. And there, it's got built. Now we're going to click them, assign them to the forging hut. That way they can get right to forging, and I'm not assigning some family that's way out here in the village, causing them to have to walk all the way. Okay, so again, those things, I hope they kind of work on those things as a development team to be able to, I should just be able to click this guy. It should show me, it should open up a tab that shows me his residence, his place of work. I should be able to unassign or reassign the whole family just right from clicking on that character. The game hasn't had the smoothest development. There's been some really long delays as far as the updates go, and a lot of frustrated players and frustrated devs alike, it sounds like. So, but they're trying to work out systems to help with the communication between developer and player. The publisher, Hooded Horse, just came out with kind of a general announcement that they're going to start communicating with us. Hooded Horse will. Communicating just what's going on at Slavic Magic, the dev studio. Communicate what bugs they're trying to work out. Because it's, Slavic Magic is a small studio run by only a handful of people, and they don't want to spend time, writing these announcements, and maybe they want to spend time, but they're probably so immersed in trying to fix the game, trying to add to the game. Hooded Horse probably reached out and said, hey, can we help you guys? Can we help you guys with communication? Because it's been kind of a thing. People have been kind of upset. Let's get a family in the hunting camp. Actually, let's not worry about that right now. Let's get a woodcutter lodge going. As our fuel starts to diminish. There we go. Saw pit. Okay. Okay, so we got Linhart. Where's our other oxen? Do we even have him? We don't. Yeah, we still only have, we ordered that oxen back on March 1st, and we still only have the one oxen here. So it'll take a while. It's not like you order the oxen and then all of a sudden your oxen's wandering around the village transporting timber around. It doesn't work that way. Okay, we got 61% approval. We've climbed into the liked territory. If you click on your marketplace as a whole, it gives you this UI here. Granary supply. We're looking good. When this bar starts to fill up and starts becoming red, it means, hey, you need to employ another family at the granary. Get another stall going. The population is getting too large. As you can see, food variety says 50%. Well, it's because the people request 2 foods. As you can see, these are our foods. The people request, foraged goods, vegetables, grains, fruits, any of these. They also request meats, fishes, animal produce, which we don't have going yet quite yet. So that's what that is. That's why it says 50%, because we only have one food type, and people would request 2 food types. Fuel is listed as 100% because the homes only require the one type of fuel. Food is now, mushrooms are trying to roll in from the foraging hut. So that's why our food stores are growing. Fuel is down to 7. So we're not going to be able to last another 2 months. We'll only be able to last 1 month. But we've got our woodcutters lodge going. That's going to supply us with fuel once we employ a family there. And our church access, that's another thing we got to work on. And the church requires planks to build, so we're going to build our saw pit. Get some plank production going. But yeah, I need to put a family right into the woodcutter's lodge pretty much immediately upon completion. Saw pit's gonna get built before then, though. And so you're wondering why, why they abandoned the woodcutter's lodge. Well, they need a tool. So one of these villagers is probably getting a tool. Transporting tools, Thomas. So he's got the tool right there. So he got it from the storehouse. And he's carrying the tool over. And he's carrying it like that across the village, which is a strange way to carry it. But I'm not going to judge him about it. He's doing a job. I've asked him to do it. He's accomplishing it. I'm just going to let him be. The saw pit's finished. It's nice to employ a family that's really close to the saw pit. There are no families in this unit yet. This is the unit that's open. Speaking of open units, we need to get another burgage plot up. We do need to get another burgage plot. Can I get a pathway in here? I can. All right. Okay. Woodcutter's Lodge is almost done. It is done. We'll employ a family right away. May 1st rolled around. We should be getting that 7th family into the village. There it is. So what, May 2nd? So the people we're going to assign this family to the saw pit. Okay, so on the saw pit, if you go to advanced, you can set a reserve on your timber and a production limit on the planks. We have 13 logs, so it set the reserve to 13. I'm going to reduce this to 7. Let's reserve 7 logs. Otherwise, we can chew through all the logs we have. 1 log produces 5 planks. A lot of people have problems with plank production or the lack thereof, really, to be specific. And the reason is because of oxen not stocking the saw pit. Right now, there's nothing in the saw pit. There's no logs. You need an oxen to transport timber to it. But when you have a build site going, like we have here, the oxen's going to prioritize the build sites. So he's going to take this timber to the home. He's also going to take the second timber to the home. This is why I wish our other oxen were here. Our second and third oxen are still not in the village. I'm actually going to unemploy this family right now because they don't have anything to do. I'd rather they help with the building of that home. The quicker they can build that home, the quicker we can get our 1 oxen to start stocking the saw pit. But yeah, if my second and third oxen were here already, we'd have no problem stocking the saw pit. But as it is, we have issues. Because again, what Linhart's doing right now is he's grabbing timber that's been felled by the woodcutters, And he's transporting it to the build site. He's got one more log to transport there. I will say it's strange that my second and third oxen are not anywhere to be found. I can't even click on them to center the camera on them, meaning that they're off map somewhere. Even if they were in another region, it would center the camera on them. I'm going to move this hitching post. And this is kind of my founding families area. I'm going to build a little shrine. A shrine to the founding families here. Okay. Okay, so now we can take this family. Let's assign them to the saw pit. And the saw pit should start to get loaded up because our building is done. Linhart's free to stock planks or to stock timber in the saw pit because there are no more construction sites at the moment that he's worried about. There is a construction site, the shrine, but it does not require timber. So Linhart, the ox, is not worried about it. There's our shrine right there. The founding families has been established. The start of the village in Hagensteig. So let's take a look at Linhart. Is he transporting timber to the saw pit? That's my hope, is that he is. I don't see any reason why he would not. He may take it to the logging camp first, but then from the logging camp right to the saw pit. What's he gonna do? Yeah, looks like he's going to the logging camp. But right here, he should immediately grab one. Huh, he's not. What is he doing now? Okay, so my new hypothesis is that he's going out here and he's grabbing timber, probably that timber right there. And he'll transport that to the saw pit. Oh, okay. Looks like my hypothesis is ringing true so far. Boom. Yep, he fastened it. Looks like he's going the right direction. Is he going to place it in the pit? There he goes, into the pit with it. So now we've got to log into the pit. Now a member of this family should walk out of the house. Linhart continues to load up the pit. Okay, this saw pit holds 5 timber in total. Is the family sick? They're not, they're just waiting. There we go. Wait, no, he's transporting? Crafting, okay, finally. She has a shovel? Else is going with the plank saw. Okay, so May 13th, we have an open spot. Let's get another home built. Might have eliminated a couple trees right there. That's okay. We've got a work areas empty situation, and it's showing our forager is empty. But we've got mushrooms, and it says seasonal, and it says they're growing. So, true, there are no mushrooms here. As soon as this month ticks over, though, or no, as soon as we... It'll have a growth period here soon. In the next day or two, probably. So you don't want to just unemploy this family. If this is growing, just leave this family out here. Because it'll repopulate with mushrooms soon enough, and then the family will get right to work. Yeah, that'll go away soon. Okay, another building underway. Now we can build the church because we've got 20 planks. So if we go to the church, let's think about where we should build the church. Maybe kind of on a higher elevation behind the 5 families. Again, a meta build of the church would be close to your storehouse where all the planks are. It's okay, eliminating one tree, that's fine. We'll go ahead and eliminate the tree. All right, we got our church underway. The shrine signifying the 5 founding families. That's built. Oh, this family's going home. No more mushrooms. Let's go home. That's fine. We'll just leave them be. Wish that jaunt wasn't such a long one, but hey. Can't do much about that. Hey, look, we got another ox in. Lawrence is here. Another family moved in because it's May 18. And we've got another burgage plot going. Got our church build site. Okay, another burgage plot maybe. Again, I'm going to hit the H key to get a fast burgage plot going. right. Little woodland village. Yeah, I'm thinking down the line too. You're gonna have artisans, which are basically burgers plots that have been converted into workplaces, like cobblers, tailors, brewers, joiners making shields and wooden parts, and all this stuff gets, all the products fashioned by the artisans are going to get placed in the storehouses. So, I'm thinking down the line, I want artisans near the storehouse. So this is partly the reason why you would like to build a few burgers plots around storehouses, so that the travel time is very short, with the finished product to the storehouse and back to work again. All right, very good to see now we've got our 3 oxen going. Very, very good to see that. Extremely welcome sight. Trying to get a good view. The tree is kind of killing me. Let's speed things up a bit. Let's enjoy the construction, enjoy the atmosphere. Yeah, so with Hooded Horse and coming in saying, "Hey, we're gonna take control of all the communications," kind of wonder how that interaction went. Is Hooded Horse upset? I doubt it. I don't think you can. You don't really have a right to be upset, I don't think. I mean, when you consider how much money Manor Lords has hauled in for Hooded Horse, it's not like Hooded Horse hasn't done any work in promoting it, advertising it. They've done a great job, but you just, as a publishing company, you cannot afford to burn any bridges with a developer like Slavic Magic. So I doubt there's any hostility there. If anything, I imagine it was just a simple, reaching out of Hooded Horse. Hey, is there anything we can do to help you guys? Do you want us to communicate with the player base? Do you want us to collect information and put it out there to the public? I don't know how the conversations went, but one thing that's weird is that Hooded Horse has now been let in on kind of basically the dev team's private discussions, which is kind of weird. That strikes me as a little odd. Like, Hooded Horse is now in the room, with the dev team. Which makes me wonder, okay, was it kind of hostile? Like, is Hooded Horse kind of like, all right, guys, we actually need to step in and monitor this whole situation? So the whole thing's a little bit confusing. Not confusing, it's just kind of makes you wonder what happened there. Again, I don't think it's anything where the tensions were too high or anything, but I wonder if it was kind of like a little bit of a stressful situation where Hooded Horse felt like they just had to start holding Slavic Magic accountable, I guess. Kind of like, hey, listen, you got to get it together. Wonder if it was kind of one of those situations. Let's build a stone gathering camp now that we got our church up. Again, with the stone gathering camp, I like to put it, at least somewhat near where the stone's at. All right. And the church is up, which means, hey, we've got everything met, all the requirements met, except for the meat, animal produce, that situation. We're looking real good on firewood, so what I'm actually going to do is get a charcoal burner up. The charcoal kiln. It'll convert the firewood. It'll convert it into charcoal. I'm going to build a dedicated storehouse that's going to store both charcoal and firewood. Okay. I'm going to build a small little marketplace. Not a granary. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, family moved in. It's June 17, so we do need to build a home. Because we gotta have migration going still. Okay, we've got mushrooms depleted again. That's fine. Stonecutter camp is going. We got a couple oxen sitting around. We need timber transported, so let's unassign the family from the saw pit, because we've eaten through a lot of timber and they're set to a log reserve. So in fact, let's get another family on the logging camp. Let's keep several families freed up to build. So, what does this need? One tool. So, who's bringing the tool out? Someone's likely bringing a tool over. We gotta start thinking about tools as well, because we'll just import tools. We'll talk about that as we get to it. You know, there can be a lot of information. I don't want this to be overwhelming. Want it to be a gentle learning process for everyone who's trying to learn the game. So we'll talk about importing and trade and that kind of thing when we get there, which we're almost there. Stone gathering camp. Let's employ a family there. Let's start gathering stone with one of the families. We have 0 rubble stone right now, and what we want to eventually do is we want to build a manor. In order to build a manor, we do need 15 rubble stone, and there's other buildings that we want to build later on down the line that are going to require stone. So the stone gatherers camp is a must in any settlement, and no exceptions. I do want to think about a farm. You know, come September, we're going to want to put a little farm plot somewhere, because we do have fertile land. I want to take advantage of it right from year 1. And in Manor Lords, September, October, November, those are the months you're going to be wanting to plow the land, till it, sow it, and then let it grow all throughout the winter, all throughout the spring and summer, and then you'll harvest it the following September. So that's how that's going to work. Charcoal kiln's getting constructed. We're going to employ a family into the charcoal kiln immediately upon completion. There it is. There's the family employed. Charcoal kiln got a little bug where the smoke rising from the piles is just kind of frozen in time there. So it's June 25th, and we got to get this house built. So do we have any oxen transporting timber there? We've got Lawrence, but he's moving at a mighty slow pace. You know, we got to get it built before the first rolls around. Okay, let's pause it. Let's talk about the advanced tab on the storehouses. So, we got our storehouse here, typical. If we go to our advanced tab, we got these filters we can turn off and on. Let's deactivate every item. We want the storehouse to not take in any of these items. We only want the storehouse to take in charcoal and firewood. We do want them to be able to run a market stall. So if you didn't want them to run a market stall, you just click that icon there, de-highlight it. We'll keep it highlighted. We will put a family in. He's going to want to build a market stall. He's already started. Again, you can click on the marketplace. You go to the advanced tab on the marketplace. You can also deactivate all this. All I want to do is put out fuel and charcoal into that market. Okay, that particular market, that advanced tab though, with all my filters, that doesn't affect this market. This market has its own advanced tab. And we're accepting everything at that market. Okay. So that's a little bit how that works. Again, we'll dive deeper into that when we have more complicated logistics to work out. And now the big thing is the burgage plot. Got to get it built. Okay, they've got their common goods stall built. Do we have our second log transported? We don't. So what's going on there? Why isn't it getting transported? I think he's doing it right now. So we might miss that, which would be a shame to miss it. I'm talking about missing a family on the 2nd of the month. But I don't know. Let's see. I think they're actually going to do it. I think they're going to do it because we do have the login route and the villagers are already started on it. And here comes Linhart, so I think we're actually going to be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. Kind of a close call, closer call than I want it to be. But, alas, we're good. Another plot there. We only have one family freed up to build. I guess we'll have a second one soon. So the stone gatherers have gathered 11 rubble stones so far. Two families in the logging camp. That's good. We want to get our trading post built. Coming up pretty soon here. Okay. The month turned over. Another family should drop. We're kind of saving our hunting grounds for the fall, I guess. We may upgrade a couple homes once we get our hunting grounds going, because once we get our hunting grounds going, we're going to be able to fulfill that meat, fish, requirement. When we have all those requirements fulfilled, we can go ahead and upgrade. Okay, a new family moved in. We got to think about the manor. Think about where we'll build the manor. Again, you want to go for efficiency. The manor is going to be somewhere right around your storehouse. But this isn't really a playthrough about efficiency. Max efficiency. We want to be efficient, but we don't want to worry about being efficient to the point of nonsensical layouts. It'd be weird to put the manor right here. Technically, if I want to be efficient, I probably would. Or right here, but it just doesn't work with the village. I want the manor to be somewhat removed from the rest of the group. My timber count's not going up. How's my logging camp families doing? What are they? Oh, we've got a family that's sick. Makes sense. Makes sense why our timber is kind of floundering a bit. 31 rubble stone. That's good rubble stone for now. Maybe we'll reassign this family to the woodcutter. To the logging camp. Okay. Got another burgage plot built, so we're ready to accept a new family. As you can see there, we've got one spot available. Yeah, I kind of want to build the manor near the church. Maybe we'll kind of try to integrate the manor into the church, kind of. I guess we'll just speed it up a bit to get our timber. There we go. There's our timber. Okay. We'll be able to build stone manors in this game. Nice little castles. But it may not be in this region. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having a massive castle somewhere. Maybe in the Stone Rich region. Makes sense. But we'll look at different sites for the massive castle. You know, this might end up being a nice little castle too. But I don't really have grand plans for it as of yet. So we got another family able to move in on the 17th of July. Then come August 1st, we gotta get another one. Not enough goods for that burgage plot. Man, yeah, it's taking them a while to accumulate logs. It's kind of funny. Here we are, double speed. Still only have the one timber. Still sick. Families, when they're sick for like a month. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, we've got some timber now. Tiny little burgage. How many logs we've got transported? All 5 already. Wow. Okay. We're hauling in some charcoal. We gotta think about a trading post here. So if we go over to our logistics buildings, trading post, we gotta wait till we got 4 timber. Speed up time a bit. There's our next family. The 17th is here. I guess it'll be the 18th. We can watch Manor construction over Hagensteig. Okay, we've got our timber. We've got our timber for a trading post. Okay, for trading posts, you've got the King's Road here. The road that's already there on the map. Like if you were to go to our road tool, if we were to try to delete it with the Alt key, it won't allow you to delete it. It'll allow me to delete that road because I built it. That's the road going out to the Forager hut. But it won't allow deletion of that road. That's how you know it's the King's Road. So you want to build your trading posts kind of close to the King's Road, because that's where the traveling merchants will be going to and fro, hither and thither. Despite some belief, you do not need to actually put it on the King's Road. I'm just going to put it right here. Okay, it's a good spot for it. We've got availability for 2 families plus another house on the way. go ahead and speed up time. Let's watch this manor get built. Okay, new family should be rolling in. There it is. They should jump right on construction. Okay, what else does it need? Needs some rubble stone. August 5th. Okay, let's think about some farmland. Let's look at barley. As you can see, we built the church, and so our first our founding families, we built that on a nice barley plot. That's okay. I don't usually worry about that. We do have tons of good barley here, but a lot of trees that we would eat up. We have a lot of good barley here, not many trees. Maybe we start here with our barley field. Boom, barley. Barley. Emmer. We're getting up into the high country right there. .6 Morgan. Yeah, 0.6 Morgan I found is a nice number. We got some herringbone pattern going on there. Let's get our farmhouse up. Too steep to build. Part of me doesn't want to eat up some of the farmland, but part of me also doesn't care. Maybe I should eat up the farmland. Yeah, we got plenty of farmland, don't we? Let's not worry about it. Let's chew it up. Let's chew up some of the farmland. It's not going to be a problem. Okay. So we got our farmhouse being built. That's good. We've got the manor built. We've got no one. We've got no space for. We've got bandits stealing charcoal. That's fine. The bandit camp. We'll talk about that in a second. Gotta get more homes up. Yeah, look at these rolling hills. It's hard to man, it's hard to tell how rolling these hills are until you get down to eye level. Okay. We probably won't get to all those fields in the fall here, but hopefully a bulk of them. So as you can see, we got bandits. Let's talk about the bandits for a second. We're going to go ahead and try to deal with them. They're way out here in Boswies, which is unfortunately a long journey. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our militia, our spearmen that we've got. We're going to take them. We're going to take our retinue that we earned from constructing the manor. So if we click on the army tab, we've got our retinue right there. We start with 5 members. It holds a maximum of 12 right now. You can build what's called a garrison tower attached to the manor, which will increase the retinue to 24. Let's talk about the logging camp. I gotta move it. Well, I've got an advanced habit. I want to start clearing all this out, because I know I want to build my castle kind of, you know, a little bit big. We'll mess around with the castle, but we'll go ahead and take out the trees there, and we'll probably take out all these trees here because we've got nice firm fertile land there. And I don't want to just field over all of it and get rid of our trees without benefiting from all the timber. So that's the mindset I have right there. Let's go ahead and hunt. We're gonna hunt. We're going to reassign this family to the saw pit. The preserve is at 10. I mean, it's at 7. Let's reserve it at 10. We're probably not going to get a family. Yeah, so we're not going to get our migrant family on the 17th of this month, which is fine. It's completely fine. It's probably better to get the farmhouse up and going anyways. because we want to get at least a few crops going. We want to be able to celebrate Oktoberfest next year after we harvest some barley. Okay, so they're hunting the small game. We're gonna get some meat going in the village pretty soon. We'll take the wild animal herd. We'll, again, in the advanced tab, you set the reserve. I'm gonna drop it down to 6 to really get some meat going. Right now we got 13 animals in there. You start dropping it below 6, 5, 4, 3, then you start running into possibility of extinction of the herd over hunting, which will cause the animals to be gone for actually ever. So that's the thing you gotta just be aware of. Farmhouse is done. I'm gonna get a plowing station going. The plowing station allows the ox to plow the fields. The village is taking shape. Work area, can't find anything. Yeah, we got the mushrooms, which is still growing. It's at 1. I'm actually gonna go ahead and unassign this family, because come a couple days that mushroom harvest will pretty much end, so it's okay if we miss out on the final couple of mushrooms. It's not gonna be a big deal. Okay, we got oxen transporting timber there. We've got this house underway, so we can get a family going by the 1st of September. We have some meat in now. It's probably not on the food stall yet. It's not. As you can see, the food stall, we've got 13 stocked mushrooms. It stays in line with your number of burgage plots. 13 burgage plots occupied equals 13 units of food. Same thing with the firewood. 13 units, a combination of charcoal and firewood. Okay, the plowing station's getting stocked there. Stocked with the timber it needs. As soon as we get the fields sown, we're going to go after the bandits. Our burgage plot's done to accept a new family. We want another burgage plot going. I think we want to think about larger burgage plots for gardens at this point. So let's actually look at areas that are not fertile. Let's go into here maybe. Well, there's a lot of fertile land, huh? Maybe we won't really much worry about that. We'll just build where we want to build. There's probably plenty of fertile land to be had. So as you can see, when I went that big, it wanted to go 2 different plots, which you can do. Click it. But if you want to reduce that to 1 plot, just click that subtraction icon. Brings it to 1 plot. So what I'm doing is making burgage plots that are going to allow for large backyard vegetable gardens. And you want to make them pretty big. You can make them bigger than this, but the residents are going to actually work the land, so you don't want it so big that they're just spending their entire year trying to work the land. So this is plenty. Again, you can optimize the plots. Try to maximize that backyard house space ratio, but I'm not really doing that in this situation. Just these are going to work great. Couple there. Let's do another one here. I'm gonna have to move that hitching post. In order to get that road going. Come on now. Okay. There we go. August 24th. So September 1, that's when we're gonna be able to start plowing the fields. 41 timber. 41 planks, I mean. Let's unassign the saw pit. Cannot upgrade homes yet. I'm gonna get another granary worker so we can get more people transporting items. Gotta get meat. I want to get meat on the market. I'd like to upgrade a couple homes. Get this thing going. Every home is doing great except for the there's no family in there, that's why. Every home's doing great except for the meat. That's the situation there. The farmhouse is now done. So I think what we'll do for the first farming season is we'll have 1 oxen plow. Probably just do 2 fields. Should we do all 4? Maybe we do all 4. Yeah, I think we do. I think we do all 4. So hopefully the granary is going to grab some meat and place it into the market. That's the idea here. Then we can start upgrading some homes. Probably want to upgrade just 2 or 3 homes at first. I may not hit the... let's see. I was going to say I may not hit the farm fields right on September 1st. Just kind of seeing if they're stocking the market. They haven't yet. There's meat in the granary, but they don't want to put it into the market stall. For reasons. For reasons that are unknown. A bandit camp was sighted. Is that one closer? That one's... I guess that one's a little bit closer. Not really. Wow. Crazy. Still pretty far away. August 29. Still no meat onto the market stall. What's going on, granary? I assigned you a specific position so that you would fulfill a need. And now do you want to fulfill the need? Now you got 6 small game in there. For some reason, you're not placing onto the market. 7 small game. Burgage plot finished. Okay, let's go 2 livestock assigned to the farmhouse. It's August 31. Okay. Now let's go barley, wheat, barley, wheat. I want to do something here. I didn't really think much about flax, but we should probably do a flax field. It's a weird field. .7 Morgan of flax. flax, wheat, barley. Yeah, we'll leave that one fallow. We've got burgage plots built, so let's fill up the farmhouse. Anyone we can unemploy for the time being. Not really. It's more important to get this, get traders in here, really. Let's unassign the woodcutter. Let's get traders in. Let's trade the pelts. Let's export the animal pelts. So when you go to trading, you go to this trade tab, things you want to sell, click on this, go export. This is the number of what I have, current surplus 11. The desired surplus, you want to set it to whatever you want left in your village. I don't want any pelts in my village. They're not used for anything at the moment. So I'm going to set this to 0. So the traders that you employ here are now going to stock the pelts into the trade post. Okay, I've got meat on the market now. Let's upgrade that home. Upgrade that home and upgrade that home. 3 upgrades. Let's unemploy a logger. Okay, so we've got 2 oxen plowing fields. We've got the other families employed who are also doing plowing. We've got buildings being upgraded. Let's speed it up a bit. What's going on here? Okay. This oxen stuttered. Wasn't quite sure why. Sometimes on the higher speeds, the oxen have a difficult time. That could have been contributing to the problem there. Home's being upgraded to level 2. Okay, so as you can see, we sold pelts. We're up to 30 regional wealth. Now, if I go to our fuel tab, charcoal is a major trade. The trades are divided, major and minor trades. Building materials, you can see, again, minor trades, boom, major trades, boom. Okay, every category is going to have that. Minor trades, further down, major trades. All major trades require you to open what's called a trade route. So minor trades don't require the trade route. That's why for the pelts, we didn't need to unlock this trade route. As you can see, it's 20 regional wealth to unlock it. Let's go to our fuel. Let's sell charcoal. It's a good early export. We have 192. Let's just go 30 on the surplus desired. And we got to purchase a trade route. We have to, because it's a major trade. And we got the 30 regional wealth, so let's establish it. Okay. So now my traders are going to stock the charcoal in the trade post. So that's going to jumpstart the economy as we're rolling into September here. We've got our level 2 homes being constructed. We can probably, let's unassign the hunters because we're down to 5. We're down to 6 animals. We got our upgrades that we wanted anyways, so we're probably just fine. We're going to be just fine. How are the fields doing? They're doing well. What'll happen is once an ox is done plowing a certain field, he'll move off the field and go to another field. Like, let's say this ox finishes this field and moves right to this barley field. All the individual workers here are going to move off of this field and start sowing. Or they'll start moving and plowing this field with these guys here. The oxen and the individual people will not be plowing together on the same field. When an ox has a field, it's just the one ox and its guide. Okay, that's all it's going to be. So if you click on a field, it's got the stages right here. This is the plowing stage. We're almost done. It shows 95% progress. That white bar is going to fill up all the way. This is the sowing, 0%. And this is the growth, obviously 0. And then the harvest will happen next fall. Okay, so we got a new family. And we're gonna, let's really just outfit the trade post. Let's get it going since economy is a huge part of our playthrough. Burgage plot level 2. We're going to talk a lot about backyard extensions, elaborate on what those are, and how to activate them and all that very, very soon. So a lot of our backyard extensions require a little bit of regional wealth. So we got to sell some charcoal, get that regional wealth number up. Okay, as you can see, the oxen got done plowing that field, so it moved to this field. So we got a bunch of workers going over here to sow this. So our barley field is the first field being sown. The flax field is almost completed with the plowing. We'll go ahead and be content just leaving that fallow again. Not worried about that. Okay, this oxen finished the flax field, so it looks like it's going to be moving over to this field. So as you can see, these workers are already moving off of it because they know that the ox is coming. We'll speed up time a bit. Actually, it's reduced time because that oxen was having issues when I sped up time. This is a nice view right here. Sowing the seed. It's a good spot. Some of the burgage plots in the distance there. It's a good screenshot for me. Looks like they're pretty much wrapping up on the sowing of the barley. Settlement level reached, medium village. Okay, so we did reach a new settlement level. Let's actually talk about the settlement levels. So if we click on this, we've got origins that we can unlock. So this we could actually have unlocked when we've got our small village settlement, which is when you build your first 5 burgage plots. So we've got all these different origin stories that we can choose for our village. So the Bamberg smallholders, driven from Bamberg by the bishop's heavy tithe, we learn to keep our hearths warm and our table full by our own hands. We waste nothing, tend every plot with care, and set down roots where we can live by our own labor, not by the bishop's mercy. Okay, you can upgrade the burgher's plot to a small holding. Like artisans, small holding families treat their backyards as a permanent job, increasing their yield, which takes away from your workforce for the rest of the village. But it depends on what your industries are. You get increased approval from food variety, increased success chance for tree planting, tithe approval malice. Enabling the tithe causes a loss of approval. With the tithe, what you'll do is you can tithe food to the church, and it gains you influence. But if you got the smallholders background, it'll take a hit on your approval, which we don't really like that. There's this point in the game where I like to tithe food to earn influence. Off the Votland, we were shaped by the hard country. We come from the far marches where winters bite deep and the earth yields little without a fight. There we mastered the land's hidden bounty. What we carry to market's no mere trade, but proof that we endure where others falter. We got the new upgraded the hunting hound. Which is actually really good. Hunting hounds provide 1 small game every 7 days. That's 4 small game per month, just passively. So the funny thing here is you don't even have to have a hunting ground in your region. Like, let's say you have your region with like a fishing pond. You can still build hunting camps with this origin unlocked, and you'll get the small game. 1 small game every 7 days, even without a wild animal node. Kind of funny, kind of cool. Increased export price on minor trades. That's pretty good. But a lot of our exports are going to be major trades anyways. Increased capacity for foraged goods deposits. Okay. Double capacity on mushrooms and berries. Decreased agriculture efficiency. Obviously, we're going to not do that one because our agriculture is a big part of our starting region here. Woodwright journeyman. We got improved bowyers and joiners, reduced fuel consumption, increased militia combat effectiveness, decreased mining gathering speed. This is actually a good one because, I mean, unless you're producing a lot of weapons or something, high gathering speed on mining is not super essential. And to have improved bowyers where you're selling like a plus 20% efficiency on bowyers and joiners, and warbows, crossbows, small shields, and large shields export value plus 20%. I mean, it's a really good perk to get. Reduce fuel consumption by 50%. And your militia is better in combat. I mean, it's tough to pass that one up. Regensburg Guildsmen. You got increased regional wealth from burgage plots. Reduced burgage plot upgrade costs. Salt and iron ore import value reduction. Land tax approval malice. Which is bad because we got to tax the land. We got to tax people. And to get approval... severity, 20% severity on tax disapproval. That's not great. The Smiths of Passau is basically for blacksmiths for heavy iron mining. Which we're not going to really do in this region. Born of the Alps. We were raised where the slopes are steep and the valleys quiet. The cold takes what it can, so we keep what it cannot. Clothes well made, herds bred to endure, wild country left rich enough to fill the pot when winter comes. So efficient hunting camps, trade routes are more costly. Sheep are more resilient, clothing durability. I don't know. I'm not really going to do that one. The Strasbourg Masons. This is good if you have a stone-rich region. Improved stonemason station, reduced castle planner cost, ox handler speed increase. That's pretty good. This might be really good for... not when assigned to farmhouses. Okay. Ox handlers and their oxen move with 10% increased speed when assigned to hitching posts or stables. Okay, so you can't just assign them to farmhouses and expect them to move quickly. Otherwise, that could have been one we were going to think about just for that alone. We got the Nuremberg prospectors, improved armorers, improved mine integrity, mining import discounts, increased retinue cost. This is, again, if you got rich iron. Nuremberg prospectors. The Weiden Hinterlands. The hinterlands, along the Waldnaab lie steep fields and iron hills where herds graze thin pastures and every harvest is hard won. Yet we could not guard against the greed of men, so we were left with nothing. Still we journeyed on, carrying with us the craft of turning hard land into plenty. Efficient farming at elevation, cheaper animal imports. Mining speed increase, artisan efficiency malice. That's terrible, but efficient farming at elevation. Only a particular region would want this. I mean, we've got some high elevation, but mostly we don't. I'm going to go with the Woodwright Journeyman. Increased efficiency from bowyers and joiners. The only malice we've got is decreased mining speed. Okay. Unlock the Woodwrights. And so that's the only development point that they have right now. You know, we just reached another settlement level, and so in theory this would unlock, so we could choose something else. But at this stage in early access, we cannot. So that's that. We've got our environment tab here. This is relatively new with the latest update. Our land is mostly meadow, 71%. Gently rolling grasslands dotted with wildflowers, vital for grazing, haymaking, healthy bee populations. So it's got affinities connected to it. Pollination. Chance of extra crop yields, proportional to the meadow environment, can be increased by apiation. Current effect is 23%. So again, we can get some bees going, apiation to increase that. I'm sorry. This is woodland. Yeah, dense and shadow. The forest teems with animal life and resources. I was gonna say we're not mostly meadow. No, we're mostly woodland, which is gonna be directly affects the growth rate of wild animals, berries, and mushrooms. Trapping yields and hunting camps are proportional to the woodland environment. Tannery yield increase proportional to the woodland environment, and the chance of extra yield from pigs. So this is the bulk of our region. We're very forested at the time. Farmland. Not much farmland. Rural and urban. Urban's not really going to grow unless we start growing a sprawling city. Okay. How are we doing on the fields? I think while those guys are doing that, I'm just going to get wheat going more. So see what I'm doing there is because the farmers are idle right here until these oxen finish plowing. So rather than them be idle, let's just have them start plowing this wheat field. That's the theory behind what I did there. The traders have a bunch of charcoal stocked. So we're going to start earning 3 regional wealth per charcoal item that's sold. Logging camp only has one family assigned to it. I want to get that back to 3 families at some point soon. Speed up time, see how the oxen do. They seem to work better on the 12 times speed. Okay, they're starting to sow. Okay, we're into October. Got another family. Let's pause. Let's figure out what oxen this is. And let's unassign. Well, let's see. We can't unassign individual oxen, can we? Linhart is plowing. Hans. Okay. Hans is going back to rest. Let's see. Livestock, Hans. I can't just choose. I can't. That's another thing. Another thing I wish I could do. I wish I could just choose which livestock to unassign. I mean, I don't know if it's going to unassign Linhart or Hans. I wanted to unassign Hans. If I unassign Linhart, it's going to cause big issues. He's in the middle of plowing that field. Whatever the case, what I'm doing here is I'm doing this expansion construction. Doubles the living space of this burgage plot, allowing more families to move in. So what it does is it allows another family to move in. So you're going to have 2 families in these plots. That's the goal there. We sold some charcoal. We got up to 50 regional wealth. All these fields are now sown. Except for the wheat field. Okay, we're gonna order a horse. That's for our trading post. So we do need a hitch post. So in the trading post, if you go to the livestock tab, you can assign horses to the trading post. We're gonna go ahead and just assign them now, and that way when they arrive in the village, they'll jump right to it. Okay, that's done, so that'll get sown now. Bandits are stealing things. We're gonna deal with them. $50 regional wealth. Okay. Everything's sown. We're going to empty out the farmhouse. The fields are set, ready for growth. Now, We go like this. We start our militia. So what I do is I click the military tab. I go to the plus icon. I find the spearmen. Because we've got, this shows our equipment. We've got 20 spears. We've got 20 large shields. So click the spearmen. So we created the spearmen. Well, let's click the retinue. We're going to click the flag to rally the troops. Rally them there. You got to click on them and deselect the run icon. Otherwise, they're going to run out of stamina. We're going to rally the spearmen. Same thing. We're going to click on them. We're going to deselect the sprint icon there. So now we've got our 20 spearmen. We've got our militia. We've got our retinue. Let's get down in here and really take a look at these guys. Crashed on me. Close without sending. Okay. Well, we'll jump into it next time. Crash on me. I try to go to third person. So, all right. Well, see you guys next time.